Hello and welcome to the Africa Smart Home and Building Show. This channel's mission is to bring you the latest trends in smart homes and building automation. Weekly interviews with industry leaders. We discuss misconceptions, product reviews, tips, tricks, and a whole lot more. If something like this may be of interest to you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and bell so you're notified of our latest uploads. On this episode, I interview Ian from Elan Systems SA, one of the market leaders in home automation. Give us some sunshine if you like it. But before we do, just a quick shout out to our sponsor, Integrated Homes, for making this all possible. These guys have been in the game for a decade. So if you're wanting your home or building converted into a smart home or building, it may be a good idea to give these guys a call as they know what they're doing. Okay, it's time now for the show. Let's get into it. And welcome to the African Smart Home and Building Show. Today we have the opportunity of speaking to Ian, who's a system integration specialist.
Well, thank you. It's awesome being here on the show.
Ian, this is for our viewers who have absolutely no idea as to what a smart home is all about. And I'm hopeful that you can give some of the folks some, just at a macro level at first, as to what is a smart home in the year 2021?
It's a good question, Warwick. The term smart home, I think, is being used very, very loosely. And a smart home, by definition, is firstly a connected home, a home that you have the ability to communicate with via your phone, your tablets. But it's also a home where the components inside the home interoperate. They're connected to each other. They become one organism. I'll give you an example. For instance, a normal home, if you switch a light switch on, nothing else knows the light switch is on. It's only the person in the room. A smart home, when a light switch is switched on, or if a light switch goes on, that forms part of the rest of the house. So you can physically see the status change on a interface, for instance, the touchscreen. So a smart home is typically a connected home where we have all the parts of the home interconnected as an organism.
And tell me, Ian, who is a smart home actually for?
Well, it depends on what the person wants from a smart home. You know, you can have a smart home with some very basic smarts, lighting control being one of them, having your security incorporated into the smart home. Just having access to these from your phone has already got some smart home functionality into it. The next person may turn around to you and say that I expect my home to have all the bells and whistles. I want something that is intuitive, yet I want something that is fully fledged, from a lighting control, from a pool control, from a irrigation control, from all of those. They want their music distributed throughout the house. They want to be able to watch movies throughout the house. So really the question is to be asked to the person who wants to build a smart home. There's a couple of key components that add value to the home. So that if the guy's reselling his home, distributed music and video is a big key component. Lighting control is a very big key component. I know that in some of these states...
So, sorry to interrupt, Ian, but coming back to who the smart home is for, the first thing that came to my mind was perhaps a busy individual, mom or dad, coming home, and they don't particularly want their cell phone with them. So speak me through that scenario. Like, it's a smart home and they walk into the front door. What can potentially happen for them? How would it help them?
I think a good way to explain a well-designed smart home is you don't recognize that there's any automation in the home. You arrive home, the lights are on. You switch the alarm on in the evenings, the lights switch off automatically and they become ready to switch on if someone's in the garden. You can use the home in its normal fashion without you having to have a phone on you. There are touch screens on the walls that you can walk up to and use that. So from a businessman's perspective, no, you don't need to have your phone on you to control your home. What you should try and achieve with a smart home is you should try and achieve a smart home that has many of the functionalities that you would assume as normal to daily things built in as automation. So for instance, I'll give you an example. It's sunset in the evenings. Sometimes you have to switch the outside lights on. A well-designed automation system, you shouldn't have to do that.
Okay, Ian, next question I have for you. What are 5 characteristics of a great smart home?
Warwick, the first thing that's probably the most important component is a really well-designed network. A really well-designed network as far as your Wi-Fi and your local communication between the devices, but more even so, to be able to connect outside the home. So network, well-designed network connectivity, perfect, number one.
Okay, when you, remember this is for our newbies out there, including myself, when you talk network, quick rundown, what do you mean by network?
Network is the hardwired version of your Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So this is the way that our devices communicate with each other inside the house. If you pick up your phone and you want to switch the lights on, the phone has to communicate through the network to the control system, which communicates with the lights. So that's the network that so well-designed infrastructure as far as the network is concerned. Choosing the right product, it's the right investment.
Something I've noticed is that, and generally the industry there's a lot of technical terms, which some of it goes way over one's head. So, and I've noticed, I mean, the way you speak, I suppose being in the game for 20 years, it comes naturally. So I hope you don't mind me interrupting you every now and again.
Fine. The second part that is, in my mind, absolute key with a smart home, if you're saying smart home, being connected home, it's remote connectivity. You know, you are sitting at the shops, you want to know if there's something at home that you'll need to switch on or off. You want to be able to arm alarms, you want to be able to maybe switch the outside lights on if you're on your way home late in the evening. You know, so remote access is an absolute key component of our product on the ELAN side. The three other points that I would want to add to it, which makes a good smart home, is, you know, we talk about lighting control. So a well-designed lighting control system is absolutely essential.
What is a lighting control system?
So a lighting control system is typically you would assume I walk into a room, I have to switch the lights on. That is still applicable, but now we'll start to add little nuances to that. You walk into your pantry, you no longer have to switch the pantry on. There's a sensor that senses someone has walked in. The light goes on, you can take out some stuff. And after
so when you walk in and out of rooms, the lights automatically go on and off? Or?
Not all rooms. We don't do that typically, because if you were in the room sitting reading a book and there were no movement and the light goes off, you're waving.
But one can adjust it, yes, no?
You can to a certain extent, but it's not something we do generally for high traffic areas, that your lounges and all that. Bathrooms, to a certain extent, we'll do for a guest loo. We will do that. Entrances where you're in and out, we'll do that type of thing. So that's quite important. Distributed AV, which is audio video distribution, that's definitely another part that we'll look at. The TV picture distributed throughout the house. You may have a TV screen on the patio, one in the lounge, and one in each bedroom. Okay, and you can obviously adjust walking in your home that the 3 TVs, perhaps one goes into classical music in your lounge, and the sports is outside. You can do that if you wish.
That's what you mean by.
Distributed audio, as we explained, is exactly the same, but just on the audio side, where you can listen to your favorite CD in one room while someone else is listening to the radio in another room. And then the final component is security. You know, I think security in South Africa is something that I know that in the States the security concept it's a safe one, but for general people, security is a big consideration. I wouldn't put it right at the bottom, but it is one of the important considerations.
What are 2 or 3 things that make a great security system? Like, I'm sure you've got lots of security systems and we can talk all day here, but if a homeowner would like to, the security's fine, but how does it talk to a smart home?
So the security system, once installed, will be wired through the network to us.
Okay.
And this is why I made sure this network is one of the things. There's a couple of ways for security products to talk to our products. The old-fashioned way was through a bus, which is again a cable that runs between the two. But as we're moving forward, more and more products are going and talking over network. So a well-designed security product will be something that we can connect to, and then you can see the status. You can arm and disarm the alarm. You can pick up your phone at the office.
So if the garden services arrive on a Tuesday morning from your phone, and if you're at work, you can disarm the alarm. And what else can you do?
You can open the garage door for them. You can make sure
so you can see them on camera, open the garage, close the garage, and open doors, lock doors from your phone.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, next question. What are characteristics or things newbies should completely avoid when talking smart homes, when they want to turn their home into a smart home? What are things that you can share with our viewers, including myself, as to what should you just stay away from when you talk smart homes? Like, what's not a good idea?
You know, I think one of the key things to consider is that look for a reputable company that's done this for a while already. You know, ask for references, because these guys know what they do. They can sit down with you, they can work through your requirements, they can make suggestions and all that. You know, they've made the mistakes. Let them come in and with their experience build the system forward. We don't allow unauthorized people to buy our product. you have to have been on our training courses, you have to have been certified, so forth. So the weekend warrior won't buy our product, can't buy it from us. Meaning that you can buy smart devices on Amazon. You can actually start buying the bits and pieces that you can plug into your house and make it smartish. But a true smart home is a home that has been, the smarts are embedded in the house. The smarts are part of the walls. The smarts, it's not only Wi-Fi little devices, but they both have their space. You know, the DIY space, the space of plugging little IoT things in, the Internet of Things and all that, those are all great. But if a person's asking you for a true smart home, he needs to sit down with a true installer, that someone that's got experience, that's been around, that understands. One of the key things is that our installers are all certified. The weekend warrior that wants to come and install stuff and buy from us, we can't supply this person because they need to go through a process of certification. So that by the time
so what you deal with in the smart home integration that you guys deal, it's no one like can, you know, just walk in your shop and buy it. It's very specialized with regards to what you do.
It's quite specialized, and therefore we need someone that's certified to do it. The nice thing about it is if you're dealing with a certified dealer, you're dealing with someone with experience, you're dealing with someone that can assist you with design on the system, that can maybe make some good suggestions, and they'll make sure that that smart home works.
Hey, yeah, next question. What makes a smart home a good investment?
Okay, there's a couple of things. Cost of electricity is quite high, so if you can manage that by controlling your lighting usage, that's already a good thing. Being able to use your thermostats correctly to make sure that your room temperatures are not too cold or too hot. Also a good investment from the end, can I resell this house easier than my neighbor who doesn't have a smart home installed? And the answer is yes. You know, people are becoming more and more aware of the fact that I'm looking for a smart home. Now the estate agent is going to ask you, is this a smart home? And you can answer, yes it is, we've done the following in the house. So by the time they get to marketing the house, you're asking, is it a good investment? A more sellable house is a good investment.
That's a very good reason. How do I control my home when I'm away or traveling?
Okay, that brings me back to one of my previous answers, the connected home. So if you have a connected home and you're dealing with a product that has remote access as standard, you're going to control it through your phone or your tablet or your PC. So if you're not at home, you may be at the office, you can load the software onto your PC and you'll be able to look at your cameras, you'll be able to switch lights on and off. The requirements are, of course, that your house has to be a connected home, meaning that there must be internet into the house that's working, and you must be in an area where your phone or your PC or that is connected to the internet. But it's pretty straightforward, and the experience that you have working with your system remotely is identical to the experience that you have when you're walking up to a touchscreen. It's as if you're at home.
Okay, yeah, the next question. What is a smart lighting system?
Okay, so Warwick, traditionally a lighting control system is something that you control. So you walk up to the wall, you touch the wall, you switch it on. Lighting automation or smart lighting means that we can add some additional features. For instance, lights can be switched on their own with a timed event, with a trigger such as a passive that's been triggered. We can set scenes. So smart lights are lights that are not just purely there to be switched on and off. We can use them within the control system software as well. I think one of the easiest way to explain that is that lighting control is you fast asleep at night and someone is walking in your garden. Do you need to switch the lights on, or do you want the lighting control system to switch the lights on for you?
In other words, if a cat runs across your front garden, then
I want to ignore the cat ideally, I want the person. So being able
you can adjust it that it picks up animals to people?
There are in-hand camera system on the CCTV side, you can, yes. And that will then pick up it's a person or a vehicle, it will ignore cats and dogs.
Okay, yeah, next question. What is the best CCTV camera setup for smart homes?
Well, currently the idea is to get your CCTV to be part of your control system. Okay, and that's typically not so simple because your control system can see the CCTV feed, but we can do nothing with that feed. I mean, for instance, if a person walks past or a vehicle walks past, that's always been a problem. With our product, we can use that feed to basically say that if a person walks on the driveway, switch lights on. So our CCTV product has analytics built in, and it also means a lot less false alarms. So that tree, as I mentioned previously, it sways in the wind and the storm, is going to be ignored. The person that walks on the driveway at a certain time at night is going to be picked up. The vehicle that moves on the driveway at a certain time at night is going to get picked up. So that's the type of CCTV product that you want, because it incorporates the analytics, which is the ability to recognize objects on there, and the control system can see that information and act on it.
Now, apparently, Ian, you have one of the best CCTV cameras in the world. What is the difference between buying a cheapo on Amazon and a state-of-the-art CCTV camera? Is that pretty much what you just shared, or is there something else?
Look, there are really good cameras and there are really, really good cameras, and then obviously you've got the cheap cameras. The problem with the cheap camera is that the ability to distinguish, for instance, if you have an area where there's lots of light versus an area where there's no light and they're next to each other, the camera is going to overcompensate. So the shadow area you're not going to be able to see. So buying a camera that's got a dynamic range that can see the light and the dark areas at the same time. I mean, why are you buying a camera? Do you want to see that person or that thing or that event? And this is where our cameras shine. Our cameras have the ability to give you the best video picture quality at that particular time for security.
Okay, yeah, the next question. This is a bit of a funny one. Well, I thought preparing my little question. But what would you say the difference is between, seeing as though we're talking about smart homes, what is the difference between a smart home and potentially a dumb home or not so smart home?
I think when people try and take too many smart things into one space and they actually don't talk with each other, it becomes a dumb home. Because then you have an app for everything. You want to open the app for your CCTV cameras, then you can do that. If you want to listen to music, that's another app. If you want to switch to a TV channel, that's another app. That's not the way we like to do things. A smart home that's smart has everything in one space, one app.
Okay, so I approached you guys because you know what you're doing, right? So in a way, are you saying that your app or your system integrates in feeds all your garden services, your lighting, your whatever on one app, opposed to what you beautifully just described now, having lots of remotes, lots of apps?
Yes, everything is in one space. There's no need to jump app.
I'm sure all the newbies enjoyed that. Very, very cool function. Okay, Ian, next question. How to start to build a smart home and where to start building a smart home? What's a great idea for all the newbies out there?
Okay, well, firstly, I think most of the guys are going to do quite a bit of internet searching and trying to find it, and they'll find a myriad of things. Sitting down with someone that's done it for a long time is maybe the best idea. Get an idea of what's out there. Get an idea of what type of home you're building.
Yeah, and it's been in the game for 20 years. So, sorry, Ian, carry on.
Get an idea of what type of home you're building, and then get some ideas from people. You may already have ideas that you want music throughout the house, which I mentioned before is a common question. You may already have the idea that you want security in the house. Getting someone involved that is at that level, they'll be able to explain to you exactly which one of these components are key for them, when to install these components, because again, as a house is built and all that, the whole process of building means that some parts need to be installed while the house is being built.
So you guys work with builders, landscapers from the get-go?
Our certified dealers do, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Our certified dealers are trained to give you that service, to provide them so they can sit and work with the architect, they work with the builder, they work with the electrician. All those components are part of their service. To be able to say, right, to the electrician, this is the time that we're going to be able to do these wirings. The builder needs to make provision for the right conduiting, etc., etc. So that's all what our certified dealers do. The human unconscious mind is a funny thing. It's going to try for you to find the cheapest person to do the job. The problem in that is that the cheapest person may likely not be the right person to do the job. And it's like that in any industry. So finding a professional in our industry, we will recommend someone who's been around the block, someone who can give you the right service.
There's depth of understanding of what is going on.
Someone that's reputable, someone who's done this a long, long time. You know, because the word you use, I have a bad automation system. Why? Why did I have a bad automation system? Was it badly installed? Was it badly designed? Was it just the wrong product for what you wanted? You know, so getting the right person involved means that we're going to avoid all those scenarios by having someone that can sit down with you. You're comfortable with this person obviously has been around, they've got references. You can go and see some homes with the homeowner's permission to go find out, listen, how was your experience with this dealer? Did this client look after me? Did they make sure that I was given the right advice from the get-go? And what was my experience like now that I'm living in the home? That is where an experienced dealer comes in invaluably. That's where I say, please, the guys need to understand, find the right dealer, not the cheapest dealer.
That, Ian, is very good advice. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Every home's different. Every client is like saying to an architect, design me a 4-bedroom house. He's going to ask you where, what does the slope look like? Is there water nearby? Do you want to have a view? Do you want to...
So it's very specific to the home that you install.
So our industry is commonly referred to as the CI industry. The custom installation industry, because every single job that the guys do has a custom element to it. It's bespoke.
Fair enough.
It's for that house. You know, how many meters of wiring do you use? How many kilometers of wiring sometimes do the guys use? Sometimes they use kilometers of wiring in one house. Kilometers of wiring in one house.
And Ian, another question. What is the best audio when we talk smart homes?
Warwick, when you're asking audio for smart home, there's a couple of categories you got to look at. There are people who like to sit down and listen to music with their hi-fi system. I'm old school, I still have a hi-fi system and I do spend some time with it. Then there are people who want really good music but not see the speakers. So if someone says I want a really good audio system but not see the speakers, typically what we'll do is our dealers will suggest a good in-ceiling loudspeaker, a speaker that's embedded in the ceiling. So some planning is required. So if you asked earlier about tips for building a home, at this point, speaking to the right person, the right installer, they will advise you before you pour the slab of the house that they need to put provision in for the speakers to be put in after the slab's been poured. But best audio for a home depends on the type of listening the client wants to do. Does he want a hi-fi system, or does he want a distributed video and audio system? Speakers in ceiling, very, very popular. They're out the way, they can sound really great. It depends on the client.
So when we talk audio, you know, ordering something off Amazon or going into the local retail shop, opposed to a well-seasoned organization like yourself, just on the top of your mind, for the newbies, Amazon retail buyers, to somebody with depth like yourself, understanding of audio, what is the biggest frustration that comes to mind when you differentiate from the two, if you know what I mean?
Firstly, I need to clarify there's some really, really good retailers out there. I mean, we have people that deal with our product that are retail based as well, that have been in the industry for a long time. That's the industry they love. They love dealing with people. So they have a brick and mortar business. You know? And a lot of those guys have fantastic service, and if you want a face-to-face experience, that's the type of experience you can have. Buying off a website means that either you've done your homework really, really well, or someone has advised you really well, but there's risks. You know, if you're buying a printer or a copier, or if you're buying something a bit less technical in the sense that it's something you can buy and use immediately, it's not something that you have to buy and install and wire and all that, then maybe speaking to a qualified dealer is your best bet.
Okay, Ian, and lastly, I don't want to keep you much longer, I know you're a busy man. What are the biggest misconceptions when we talk smart homes? As in, what grinds you from somebody who's been in the game for 20 years?
That it's complicated. It's not. A smart home should be simple. Not stupid, simple. A smart home should be easy to control for anyone, whether it's your mother, whether it's your children. You know, a smart home should be able to immediately make sense. And of course, the bits that you don't need to know about in the background that needs to operate automatically should still operate. But a smart home should be really, really simple to operate, and it's intuitive. You know, and that's why many people say, but a smart home is complicated. It should not be, not at all.
The first thing that comes to mind, if you know, if one had to ask Einstein about some other maths theory, he would say, no, it's very simple, you do this and this and this. But somebody has no idea about maths. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, so this man's a genius, is what I'm trying to say when it comes to smart homes. So thank you for allowing this time. I hope for all our viewers and subscribers, if you haven't subscribed yet, this channel is dedicated to bring you the latest trends, misconceptions, tips and tricks when it comes to wanting to change your home to a smart home. Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share that's on your mind?
Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you very much. It was great chatting.
Absolute pleasure. It's lovely having you on the show.